Hello, scholars. So this is the third video for this week, and this is going to show you how to do the evaluation part of the source evaluation assignment, which is due Friday, May 1st. So this video technically goes with lesson 4. So we're working with the same objective for the whole week and the same assignment for the whole week. The objective is evaluating the strengths of our research sources as part of the source evaluation. When you go to Google Classroom, this is the video about the how to evaluation video. So for this assignment, or for this lesson, you're going to need your research source evaluation document. You're going to need the CP source evaluation guide, and you're going to need your copy of your Holocaust digital research notes. So I have all three of these things open. So I have my digital notes open. I have my source evaluation final copy that I'm going to hand in. I have that open, which is about to load. And then the final thing is I have the guide loaded because that's going to show me the questions that I should answer when I'm evaluating each source. So there's the guide. Just wait for my slow computer. Okay. So the other video this week gave you an overview of the project, and then the second video showed you how to do requirements 1 and 2. This video is going to show you how to do requirement 3. So here are the questions that are given, and I need to answer some of them. I don't need to answer all of them. I already did the citation and the summary for my first source about Virginia Hall, and I filled in all of my heading, my MLA heading and everything. So now I'm doing my evaluation. So here I'm going to talk about why this source from NPR is particularly useful to me. And I'm going to use these questions to help myself. So again, I don't need to answer all the questions. The information that the article does provide is like a basic overview of what she did, but it really points out how she broke gender norms from when she was a little girl all the way up until she was a spy in the war. So I'm going to put that into my writing here. This source is particularly useful because it details multiple ways Virginia Hall broke gender norms from the time when she was a child up until she did her most important work as a spy during World War II. Now I'm going to go back and see what other questions I can answer. So the question D is particularly hard for me to answer because it's my first source, but like that would be an easier question to answer once I have a couple sources, what's new or different. Question E, yes, there are things that I would like to specifically cite and quote. There's a few facts that I want to include, and then there's also a couple quotes that I want to include from this one, so I'm going to write that in here. This source will help me to share facts about how Virginia used gender stereotypes to achieve great espionage, which is like great spy work, and keep herself hidden. And then I have a quote that kind of shows that from my research notes. And when I was taking my notes, I just took this quote down. And it said, I want to come back to this one too. I want to include something about her injury making her stronger. Here it is. Virginia Hall, to a certain extent, was invisible, said Grawley. She was able to play on the chauvinism of the Gestapo at the time. None of the Germans early in the war necessarily thought that a woman was capable of being a spy. So I'm going to include this. I want to include a quote from a researcher, Craig Grawley, or Graley. He said, she was able to on the Great Spy. And I did my in-text citation, and I know that it's Meyer, so I'm just going to go and put that in. And I do that, and then I put my punctuation. There was another quote I wanted to include too. This source also made it clear to me how Virginia didn't give up, even though she had a wooden leg from a hunting injury. The injury actually made her stronger and inspired her. The quote that I want to use from this source to show that is, and then I'm going to use the colon quote. And here's the quote that I liked here. And her injury, in fact, might have bolstered or reawakened her resilience so that she, in fact, was able to do great things. And that was, again, said by the same guy, this retired CIA agent. So I'm going to, this is actually a quote within a quote. So I have to add like my extra quote line. And then I'm going to copy that, put that in there, and there's my in-text citation, but remember I have to make my punctuation on the outside. And then the last thing that the last question I'm going to answer is this question about how are you going to use this source in your actual paper. I will use this source to help me develop 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph I will use it for is the paragraph about her injury and how it made her more resilient. The second paragraph I will use this source to develop is a paragraph about her breaking gender norms and being a great spy despite stereotypes about women during this time. Okay, so now I have my whole evaluation paragraph. I've answered some of the questions. I've answered them with detail. I need to clean it up though. So I have a lot of spelling mistakes because again, when I type, I just kind of go. Graley is actually not a spelling mistake. That is the guy's name. So I'm going to ignore that one. Capitalization error, spelling error. Again, this is the guy's name. So I'm not going to change that. Yep. Yep. Yes. Yes. This one, no. It was about her breaking gender norms and being a great spy. Okay. Rather than great, I'm actually going to use effective because great is kind of not objective, but effective means that you're good. You get what you do what you're supposed to do. You get it done. And then I need to also make sure that this is all the same font. So I'm going to go up here because when I started copying and pasting my quotes, they came out in a different font. So I need to make sure it's Times New Roman and size 12. And there we go. And there's my evaluation paragraph. I'm going to read it again just to make sure. Oh, it also looks like I need to make sure that it's black ink.